Hi everyone, and welcome to the Treehouse. I'm Kelsey, and I'm very excited that you are my first ever visitors here in my brand new treehouse. Did you notice that? That even if you look out my window, you notice that we're way above the ground, up in the treetops. Now you may notice I'm in a park, but what park in Shelby Township could I be in? Let's think about it. That's right, it's Riverbends Park. That's where we're located. And this whole episode we'll be traveling all over the township. We're actually going to be starting off in the Shelby Township Library, where we're going to visit some unlikely readers.
So we have Paws to Read at the library today. It's a new program that we're starting with some local therapy dogs. The kids can pick out a book to read and practice their skills reading with confidence because they're reading to a dog, and so many kids connect to dogs. They might feel more confident in practicing their reading aloud because they're not nervous as they might be reading to a person, a teacher, classmates. This will hopefully give them more experience so that they can get better at doing that in school.
Oh, wait. Hello. I could say the boy's name, Buzz.
Woof, woof. Woof, biscuit. The game's about to begin.
So cut and embedded into jewelry or other items. Games have been collected, shaped.
A garden spider's web is a deadly insect trap.
And the glasses always got straight A's because Melvin was so...
I just really hope that it helps kids have a great first reading experience in a positive setting where they feel comfortable and make a connection to the dog that will help them think positively of reading for years to come.
Hello my friends, Lizzie from the Burgess-Shadbush Nature Center here today, and I'm excited to read a book with you. Are you ready? We're going to read The Dark, Dark Night by M. Christian Butler. Frog was very excited. All winter he had been asleep under a stone, and now that it was spring, he was on his way back to his pond. On the way, he bumped into Badger and Hedgehog. Then he played leapfrog with Rabbit and Mouse. Suddenly, he saw that it was getting dark, so he borrowed a lantern from Mouse, and off he went through the woods back to his pond. Woo, woo, the wind blew in the trees. Squeak, squeak, went the lantern as it swung side to side, and the dark was all around. When Frog reached his home, he put the lantern down behind him and was just about to jump in the water when he saw... What do you think? A huge black pond monster with enormous claws coming out of the reeds. Oh no! Frog grabbed the lantern and hopped as fast as he could back through the woods. There's a huge monster in the pond, he cried. Are you sure? laughed Hedgehog. Frog nodded, trembling. All right, said Hedgehog calmly. We'll have a look together. And I'll come too, said Mouse. Off they went through the woods. Hoo, hoo, the wind blew in the trees. Squeak, squeak, went the lanterns. Wait for me, cried Mouse, and the dark was all around. Soon Hedgehog and Frog reached the pond. Now, said Hedgehog, where's this monster? There it is, cried Frog. It was bigger than before, with enormous claws and terrible spikes down its back. Run, run, cried Hedgehog. Pond monster, pond monster. What's all this, chuckled Rabbit. A monster? There's no such thing as a monster. Come and see for yourself, said Hedgehog, shivering. All right, said Rabbit, I will. I'll never swim in my pond again, said Frog, as they set off through the woods. Hoo, hoo, blew the wind in the trees. Squeak, squeak, went the lanterns. Wait for me, cried Mouse, and the dark was all around. It wasn't long before they were back at the pond. Rabbit, Hedgehog, and Frog tiptoed to the water. There it was again, the big pond monster, and it was bigger than ever. It had enormous claws, terrible spikes down its back, 2 big horns, and wildly waving arms. Uh-oh. Run for your life, yelled Rabbit, racing back through the woods with Hedgehog and Frog close behind. What's going on? Asked Badger. So they told him all about it. Come along, Badger said. I'd like to see this monster of yours. And off they went once more. Hoo, hoo, howled the wind. Squeak, squeak, went the lanterns. Wait for me, cried Mouse. And the dark was all around. As they reached the pond, a huge gust of wind came through the trees and blew out all of the lanterns. I can't see a monster, said Badger at last. That's because it's too dark, whispered Frog. And there they all stood, waiting in the moonlight for something to happen. Just then, Mouse caught up with the others at last. Yoo-hoo, she shouted, waving from the bank. Badger, Rabbit, Hedgehog, and Frog looked at Mouse. And then they looked at the small black shape waving from the reeds. Look at that, said Hedgehog. That's not a pond monster, said Rabbit. That's Mouse's shadow, said Frog. I can't believe it, said Badger. You are running from your shadows every time. The 4 friends laughed and laughed and laughed. Hooray, cried Frog. There's no monster after all. And with a huge happy splash, he leapt into his lovely pond at last.
3, 2, 1, sign of the day.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sign of the Day. Are you ready to do some signing with me? You are? Perfect, because do I have the sign for us today? We're going to be learning how to sign imagination. Have you ever heard of imagination before? You have? You've probably even used it. That's when we have to think of fun, creative ideas in our head. So our sign today is imagination, because when we're doing a lot of reading, we're going to have to use that imagination to maybe think of pictures of things that are happening in the story. So let's go ahead and get started with that sign. You're going to need both of your hands for this, and they're going to be making the letter I, because imagination starts with what letter? That's right, it starts with I. So let's go ahead and make 2 fists. Our fingers here are going to take a little nap, but our pinkies are going to stay up just like that. Now we're going to move our hands around our face, and they're going to start moving and making little circular motions, kind of like they're wheels turning. When we think of something, people usually say, our wheels are starting to turn, or our gears are starting to turn in our head. That means we're thinking really hard, and when we're imagining things, we're thinking really, really hard. So our wheels are turning. Do you think you can do this sign with me too? Perfect, let's do it together. Let's bring up our 2 fists with our letter I here, and we're going to have them move around in a circle because we're using our, that's right, imagination. Very good. Now you think you can do it with me one more time? Let's try it together. Fists up, make our eyes, and make them move around in those little circles. Imagination. Very good. Now we can use our imagination to maybe think of what animal we're going to meet at the Nature Center next. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, Lizzie Schultz here from the Burgess-Shadbush Nature Center here in Shelby Township. And I have a very special friend with me today. Now don't be scared, this is my friend Ember. And she is a Chilean rose-haired tarantula. Now I know spiders can be a little scary. I can be scared of spiders sometimes too. But then I look at Ember and think about how much spiders do for us in the environment. Because you know what? I don't like mosquitoes, I don't like flies, I don't like cockroaches, ew. So we need spiders to help eat those animals, those bugs, and keep them out of our house. So just because something looks a little different or unique doesn't mean that it's mean or it wants to hurt you. Spiders are very shy, Ember included, and so they really like to hide in like their little crevices and just spend all day eating the bugs in your house. They don't want to mess with you, and in fact, even a large tarantula like Ember here, she only has enough venom in her body to kill a cricket. And you are a little bigger than a cricket, so she would not even be able to hurt a person. In fact, biting is not even their first form of defense. When they feel threatened, they will actually turn around and her whole body is covered in these hairs. And she'll take her back legs and she'll rub them against her abdomen back there and shed the hairs into like an animal's face, like a predator's face. That makes that animal feel very itchy. And then she has a chance to get away. They stick their fangs into their prey and slurp up the insides like a smoothie. Would you eat a cricket smoothie? I wouldn't either, but Ember here would love that. Now, a lot of people think spiders are a type of insect, like a grasshopper or a butterfly, but they are a different category. They are what's called an arachnid. So they have 8 legs instead of 6. Insects have 6 legs, 3 on each side, but Ember here, we can count them, has 4 on each side. If you would like to visit Ember or any of our other animal friends, come on down to the Burgess-Shadbush Nature Center. We look forward to seeing you.
Bethany at the library, and we're so happy to have everyone back this March. March is National Reading Month, so it's a perfect time to come check out some new books at the library. And we've got a few fun new picture books here for our young readers who'd like some story books. Here's Hot Dog by Doug Salati. It's actually the Caldecott winner this year for the best illustrated picture book. It has the best drawings and artwork. It's about a dog. He's a hot dog, that's why it's called Hot Dog. He lives in the city and he's just tired of all of the noise and bustle and crowded streets, and he just wants to get away and go to the beach. So his owner will do whatever it takes. They'll get on a taxi, they'll go take a train, and they'll go to the beach and see if they can have a fun, relaxing day where they can take a swim and get away from it all. And then we've got Old Friends by Margaret Aitken and illustrated by Lenny Wen. And this is a story about a little girl named Marjorie who loves doing a lot of the same activities that her granny does: knitting, crafting, gardening, baking. And she realizes that she would really like to make friends with all of the senior citizens at the local senior citizens home. So she decides to sneak in by disguising herself as an old lady. And so her story is really nice to show us that we can make friends with people of all ages. We've also got a new nonfiction picture book. That means it's some real, true things. The book is called Brothers in Arms. It's a true World War II story of Wojtek the bear and the soldiers who loved him. It's by Susan Hood and illustrated by Jamie Green. And it's the story of a little bear cub who was orphaned. He didn't have any parents, so some local soldiers found him and they decide to take him into the army. And the cute little bear grows up in the army. He helps the soldiers during World War II. And we've got some new chapter books for our friends who are older readers who are reading a lot on their own. This one is called Hummingbird by Natalie Lloyd. It is an honor book that won an award called the Schneider Family Book Award. It was honored for that because it portrays the experience of a kid who has a disability. So it was very well written to show what it's like having something that is a challenge. And this story is about a little girl named Olive who's 12, and she has a brittle bone disease, so she has to use a wheelchair, and she's homeschooled, but she really wants to go to a real school and make some more friends. So she's very determined, and she decorates her wheelchair. She's got it all snazzy. Some things might go wrong, but she also has heard about this magical wish-granting hummingbird in the area that she's hoping to get some friends to find and make all of her wishes come true. And we've got Asha and Paws Meet Mary Sherman Morgan, illustrated by Darmali Patel and written by Caroline Fernandez. Asha and Paws have a school assignment to make a paper rocket that can go the fastest and farthest, and they'll win the chance to meet a real astronaut. But they're having some trouble, so they're doing some brainstorming, and they use a stick to draw on the ground to get some ideas. Only the stick is not just a stick, it's a magical stick that transports them back in time so that they meet the scientist, Mary Sherman Morgan, and she has some great ideas to help them succeed in their building of a rocket. So these are just a few of the fun new reads that we have at the library. We hope you'll come see us this March during National Reading Month and find the book that's perfect for you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Craft Corner. I'm in my brand new treehouse above Riverbends Park, and I am very excited to have you here in the Craft Corner by all of my craft supplies. And today we are going to be making something amazing. So if you love to read books, you might also love to write books. And we're going to be making a book of your very own today. Are you ready to get started with me? You are? All right. Here we go. All we need is just a few supplies. So we're gonna start off with some pieces of paper. So I'm gonna choose green construction paper as my book cover, and then just white computer paper as the inside pages of my book. But you can choose any color construction paper you want. So if you want a blue sky book, or maybe even something with polka dots, go ahead. And then if you want to use lined paper or whatever kind of scrap paper you have lying around, you can do that too for the inside. Now remember, when you're putting the white paper or lined paper inside your book, that's going to be how many pages are inside your book. So if you want to write a really long story, you might choose about 5 or 10 pieces of paper. But if you're just going to write a little story, you can keep it short like mine and only have it a few pages. It can also be a sketchbook too. Do you like to sketch? Me too. Now what we're going to do, now that we've had our construction paper and our white paper in the inside, we're going to fold it into our book. Now I'm going to fold it hamburger style. Have you ever heard of that before? If you fold it the long way, this is hot dog because it kind of looks like a hot dog bun. We're going to fold it this way in half, hamburger style. So here we go, folding it. We want to make sure it's all lined up on the edges. We're going to crease it down the sides. You see how I've made that? Now we have the edge of our books. You see that right there? Then I can open and close it. Now it's time for our next step, which is to punch 3 holes on this side of our book. Not the side that opens, but the side that keeps everything closed. So we're going to put a hole, one right here, one on the other side, and one right in the middle. So you can use scissors, if you have a pen or a pencil to poke a hole through. I'm going to use a hole puncher here. So I'm going to put one right on the side here for one hole. Then remember, one right in the middle for our second, and then one right on the other edge for our third one. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So if you open it up, you can even see the 3 holes right there. And which is perfect because we're going to put a ribbon down the side. So you can choose string if you have shoelaces laying around, ribbon laying around, anything to help decorate your book. So I'm going to make sure that my ribbon is about twice the size of the book, so we don't run out of ribbon while we're tying it. You'd rather have too much than too little. So I'm gonna pull it out. Look how long that is. And I like that I have a nice sparkly ribbon for today. And just like your book color, you can choose any color you want. So if you have a favorite color, or you can make it rainbow, that would be really cool too. So what you're going to do is you're going to stick your ribbon through either one of the edges, but we want the ones on the side, not the middle first. And you're going to make sure that your book cover is facing up, and then the pages are facing down, and you're going to stick your ribbon through so it goes through to the white side. You see that right there? We're going to do it to the other side too. So you're going to stick it right through this edge, right through the hole there. I'm going to flip it over and we can pull it right through there. Then we want to make sure our ribbon is even. Ooh, that's not off too bad. So we're just going to pull it through, make sure it's about the same length. You see how they line up there? Then we're going to put both of these through the middle hole. Ooh, I'm happy I caught this. Do you see how it's not lying flat right here? How it's a little twisty? We're gonna make sure that we're twisted over and that's lying the right way. Perfect. Now we'll put the ribbon through the middle hole. So we're gonna stick it through, so this time it's coming through to the green side. You see that? So it's the opposite of what we just did. And same with this one. We're going to pull it through. So it's going to come through this way. And then we're going to tie a bow. So if you don't know how to tie a bow, that's okay. You can grab somebody who knows how to tie one too. Or this is a great chance for you to learn as well. So I'm going to take my two pieces and have it just go through and make my two bunny ears, like I like to call them. They give each other a hug and go through our little bunny hole here. We're gonna pull it through, and now we have a perfect little bow on our edge of our book. And now it comes time for the fun part, which is decorating. So you see this one here? I added the Treehouse sticker, and then even some tape, and then a bunch of glitter, because I sure do like glitter. Do you like glitter? That's amazing, but you can choose any design you'd like to do and really make it your own. Hello everyone, I'm here with Miss Bethany at the Shelby Township new library, and we're in the kids area by something very special that Miss Bethany is going to tell us all about.
This is the Magic Book. It's a one-of-a-kind library thing that our library has now. It's really big, isn't it? Doesn't it look like a giant storybook with some illustrations? But the cool thing is you can open and close the page and it tells you a different little story each time.
Astronaut.
You can dance along, you can interact with the scenes. We have 12 different scenes, so if you want to close the book again, Kelsey, and open it, we'll show you something else.
Oh, I feel like I'm on a game show. Okay.
And we have some words that introduce the story, and then there's a different scene. Oh, I hear something coming. Oh, it's a big train.
That's cool. So not only can you see things, you might be able to hear things too that go along with the story.
Yes, it makes some sounds, there's some words, and there's some images moving on there.
That's really neat. So you'll definitely have to come and see the Magic Storybook. Now, what else do we have to look forward to here in the library?
You'll also see that we're right under our giant tree in the kids area. It looks very real. It's not real, but we tried our best to make it look as real as we could. There's a beehive you'll see there, and if you listen closely, it buzzes every once in a while. There are a whole bunch of little fireflies that light up in the tree. And there are a couple of birds, and the birds, you can also hear them singing. We have a whole circle of books in the new library. All of our picture books are around the outer wall of the circle. So all of our books for kids from birth up to about grade 8 are in this room, and then we also have a teen area for, once you get into middle school, junior high, you might want a separate space to hang out in and get your chapter books over there. What I think is the coolest thing in here is the Ever Bright wall, which we have in the corner. You'll see Tessa's over there playing with it. You turn the knobs and they change colors, so you can make a whole wall of a different pattern or whatever you choose to, what kind of picture you make with. It's kind of like a Light Bright for those of us older enough to remember those, but more modern, where you can control the colors and change them on your own whim.
I'm excited to adventure, and make sure you head down here as soon as possible and do some exploring of your own. Now that we've done some exploring all around the township, let's go ahead and grab our binoculars and take a look out my window to see if we can find any other places that we can find some books. Little free libraries are exactly what they sound like. They're little free libraries. We're lucky enough to have a few of the little free libraries all over Shelby Township. Maybe you've seen one around. They kind of look like little houses for books. What you do with a little free library is you put a book in and you get to take one out. It's like trading. Have you ever traded anything before? Trading books allows you to read brand new books to you while sharing some of your favorite books with other people. So if you're looking for a new book to read, or maybe trying to get rid of some of your old ones, look no further than the little free libraries. Wow, I had no idea there were so many little free libraries here in Shelby Township. I'll be making sure I'm checking those out, along with the Shelby Township Library. Maybe I'll catch you around those too. So keep up the good reading until next time. And remember, play fair, play nice, and play together. Bye!